Welcome back to another video. Today we are going to be going over the top 5 niches to get into for 2019 and my personal recommendations. Before we get started, if you want me to cover absolutely any topic, just comment it below and I'm looking for ideas for new videos. All right, let's get into the computer. Alright, guys, let's just dive into it. So, the top 5 niches or niches, however way you want to say it, who cares, to get into for 2019. And not only for 2019, I definitely recommend it for 2019, but just as time goes on, if you're watching this video in, let's just say, March or April of 2019, these still can very well work, as they have for many of me and my students in 2018. So let's get started. All right, let's unlight here these. Before we go over them, I just want to let you know to have your own mind. So do it yourself. Add a little twist on things. And I always tell people to do this when they're getting into any niche, is to not just dive into it and directly copy somebody else that they've seen, but rather kind of add your own twist onto it. Maybe add different type of products or different type of images. You get where I'm saying here. So, one other thing. Don't get into a niche you're not interested in. So many times I see people, and what they do is, they'll go through this list, they'll see something that maybe doesn't really resonate with them, but they like. And then even if it does take off, it's kind of a lose-lose, because what happens is that you don't necessarily love what you're doing, and in effect, you're not going to put as much time. So what I always say is to get into a market that kind of resonates with yourself, because it'll make everything just so much more fun as time goes along and as you continue on with that niche. So let's just get into it. All right, so the number one thing that I definitely recommend, especially if you're watching this in the beginning of the year, is relationship products. So, why? It's very easy to target. Super easy to target. You can literally go onto Facebook and now target people who are in relationships. The beauty of this, and the reason why I really like this, and kind of my whole methodology when going through every single niche that I'm looking at, is I always try to reverse engineer it. I don't just pick a product and then, try and figure out my ads and try to figure out my ad copy, but rather what I'll do is actually go in and kind of realize, okay, I could target this group of people. What would this group of people buy? And when you do it that way, it makes kind of product research really easy. We'll save that for another video. Okay, let's keep on highlighting these things over here. So the people are in relationships. You have to think when you're on Facebook, it's really 90% of it is impulse buys. And a lot of people are very likely to impulse buy something for somebody they love. Think about it. So, really easy to target, pretty easy to sell, and especially in January, end of January, very early February, you can make a killing with Valentine's Day. So, remember that. Number 2, electronics. So, here's the thing with electronics. It is super, everybody's trying to get in. It's a very easy product find, but it's always growing. There's always new electronics. There's always new things coming out. I know in the beginning of 2018, the hot trend was those wireless earpods, AirPod rip-off things, and they were doing really well. They were selling like crazy. But, electronics are really taken advantage of, and they can kind of just come in and dominate a market really fast because they can be really trending products. The one thing I will say about electronics, and if you're going into an electronic niche, is to stay away from complicated ones or low quality ones, because what will happen, and this is like with any electronics, is you're going to be getting a lot of customer service complaints. If, let's just say, something breaks or it's just not working properly or it's complicated to use, the customers are immediately going to contact you. And providing you want to actually give value, it's going to be kind of a pain for you to deal with. The one thing that you can do is scale these very easily, and that goes back to the complications of if it's a really complicated electronic or something that doesn't work, you're going to have a huge headache if you scale these, and there's problems with them. So just be careful when you're getting into electronics. One thing is if you are going to sell electronics or get into that niche, always order one first and kind of maybe test it out yourself to make sure it's a quality product that you're selling. Number 3, okay, this is a really key one, and I love this one, eco-friendly niche. So what do I mean by eco-friendly? For one instance, those metal straws, right? But not just throwing a metal straw on a general store. Don't do that. So what you want to do, especially when you're in this niche, is dive into it. I mean, really dive into it. Make a brand around your store. Make it that, you really care about the environment. This is great for a lot of people because they really do care about the environment. And really just revolve around your brand, how you're there to help the environment, how you're there to really be there for people who want to save or make a difference. And there's a ton of products surrounding eco-friendly type things, eco-friendly niche, and it's also super easy to target, and there's a lot of opportunity because I don't see this niche as populated or as crowded as the relationship product one or electronics. So super good one to get into. Number 4, pet stores. Okay, more of a broader one. People love to buy things for their pets though. I mean, seriously, it's like the number one impulse buy. It's actually so funny because the other day I was at home and I saw my mom was on her Facebook, and she went ahead and she actually bought something for our dog, and and she bought it, and I kind of like went through and said, look, the product that you just spent $39.95 for is on AliExpress for like $8 or $12, whatever it was, but it kind of just gave me proof in real life, day-to-day things that it works. Like, people buy these who love their dogs. They buy these products like that if they see. One thing that you want to do is make sure that your ads have a really good appeal. Actually include a dog. Speaking of dogs, I don't know if you hear that, my dog's barking. So has a really good appeal to people who love dogs. Cute videos of dogs. People love watching them, and you'll have a high engagement rate in this. And if it's a good product, if it's a cool product, people will definitely buy them. Another really high impulse buy, or really another market to get into. And like the eco-friendly store, you want to make sure that you're creating a brand around, pet lovers, people who love pets, people who love animals, and don't just lead them to a general store. But that's what I would recommend for that. And then, like always, and I did include this in here, is the general store. So although niches are the best to get into, and I always recommend them, especially if you have a little bit of experience, I always say to have a general store. Why? Because you want to be able to test different products, impulse buy gadgets, maybe test those new products that you weren't sure were going to work, and then add them to one of your niche websites once they're tested out on that general store. But these are my 5 recommendations of niches to go into for the new year. And I think a lot of these have a lot of potential. And, these aren't really so much secrets because they can be really competitive niches, but the market surrounding them is giant. So if one product, let's just say, isn't working within the niche, you can always try different products within it first before you just jump the gun and close it down. So don't be just so hesitant to just close it up if one product doesn't work within the niche, but test, 3, 4, 5 different products surrounding that in your dropshipping store before you go ahead and then just close it all up. So those are the niches I recommend getting into, and let's kill 2019, right? If you like this video, please just give it a thumbs up and comment any ideas or anything you would want me to cover in my next video. I will see you in the next video. Take it easy, guys.